Michael, as Zach had the big onside recovery, is it something you alerted in that situation, or is that just something that you're always looking for, particularly with and particularly with this Lions team that had their fair share of onside tries like a year ago?
Yeah, I mean, it's always great when you have a full off season to go into going against an opponent that can pull out some trickery here and there. And I could tell the guys until I'm blue in the face that watch out for the onside kick. But kudos to Zach to stay disciplined, stay in there at that time of the game, not to panic. He stayed patient right there. And it's actually pretty cool listening to the guys talk about it. They noticed, and we always talk about we have rules on our kickoff return team, always see the ball kicked, but him to stay in there and kind of alert. There was a different pace by the kicker in terms of that. Then you can see also Patrick Johnson, who plays our rover, was darting there because he saw it also. So it's kudos to them just being so locked in that opportunity right there. And you never know in the NFL, everyone's trying to win. So they got to be locked in right there. And we had gone over it and, we worked on it in practice. And the cool thing about it is what we worked out in practice, it happened in the game. So kind of makes you feel good as a coach that you have these guys prepared. But it's good for them to stay disciplined from the rules day one and, help the team in any way we possibly can.
What did you see from Britain in his first action as punt returner?
Same. I've been seeing him since we were lucky enough to get him after the draft. He's cool, calm, collected. It's like having a veteran out there. He catches it, gets downhill. He's very, very talkative on the sideline with guys on the punt return team, with myself, what he's seeing right there. And going against who I think Jack Fox is one of the better punters in the league. I mean, he was hitting balls up there I've never seen before, but he didn't bat an eye, caught it, was smooth. On that first one, he did a great job on a shorter punt to fair catch it, save us some yards right there. So I thought Britain did a good job in his first live action really against some guys. And, we're just going to strive and get better in every aspect we possibly can.
In your experience, how rare is that for a rookie to be that poised in that position?
That's a very good question. To be honest with you guys, I think it is somewhat rare to have a guy with that type of composure right there, to be back there knowing there's some guys flying at him and to stay, even keeled throughout the entire thing and, take what he can in certain spots, but also, trusting the other 10 guys to block for him. I thought, Josh Jobe and Josiah Scott down at the bottom did a really good job on the gunners. Both Zachs had the toughest job in the single. Then Zach Pascal dropping back. He's got to alert the fake, find out where the returner is, see where the ball's at, not run into the returner. There's a lot of things that go into it, and him working it. And in that first one, it was like a 5-3 hang time, able to get some yardage out of that. That was pretty impressive by those 10 guys out there.
What made you actually ran into Britain on the one return? I guess what's the coaching point there? What happened?
That's just communication more than anything else. And they hashed it out on the sideline right there. That's the cool thing about, two receivers. They're very familiar with each other and talking about it. And we're going to strive to keep getting better and better at that situation. And, Zach's doing his best to protect Britain, which is cool. And Britain's going to be out there, and, doing his job that first game. And hopefully we keep getting better and better at that.
What about Britain still being able to make the catch on when Zach kind of ran into him a little bit there?
Kudos to Aaron Moorhead. On Thursdays are big punt return days. He's throwing objects at them, trying to try to get them to not look at the ball, and just us sinking down to what we do in practice, getting them ready for the game in any possible situation with that. I mean, you see Aaron throw cones, bags, shields at them just to get them, to not concentrate on the ball, and didn't bat an eye, and he was able to, secure the ball in a very hairy situation right there. We're trying to get the ball to our offense and let them wind down the clock as much as possible, and him to catch it like that, like he was out there fielding pop flies out there, is pretty impressive for a young cat like Britain.
What made you practice the onside kick return this week?
What made it?
Last week,
I mean, I got to keep these guys honest. They can't be cheating the drill, so I'll sprinkle it in whenever I want. But we did have an emphasis on it this past week. Fib does a great job with Detroit. They did a few last year, and they got a couple of them, so we always have to be on high alert. But it's nothing like we don't do every week. We got to make sure these guys are honest, because anything can happen in the NFL. You see things around the league like I never thought that would happen, but we don't want to be on that reel. So just keeping these guys honest and make them, really think about it as much as possible, but still get their blocks when the ball is kicked deep.
You talked about the mental aspect of Zach McPherson on that onside kick. What about the physical aspect to remain focused on the ball, knowing you're going to get clobbered there?
Yeah, I mean, you just learn to respect all these guys in the NFL. I mean, that's a guy looking at the ball, not being feared. There's two guys unblocked coming at him, to have that mental aspect and that physical aspect, and it's kudos to our strength staff and them in the offseason to get them ready to play in some physical games right there. I mean, Detroit's a very physical team. They came at him. He was able to stay composed right there, caught it, protect himself by going down right there. So it was a pretty impressive play for Zach. And, you know, Zach has done an outstanding job from year one to year two, just learning the entirety of special teams, the grasping it, and becoming a leader on the outside. I mean, he had 2 tackles as a gunner out there. I mean, he's come leaps and bounds, and we're gonna lean on him, and he's still gonna get better and better at it. I mean, he was just upstairs with Tyler Brown, chomping at the bit to get ready for Minnesota. So it's kudos to those guys really trying to get ahead and get ready for our next opponent.
On the next kickoff after the onside kick, you guys had to use the timeout there. Is that one you just accept that you save, or is there anything you can do when you're lined up, prepare for the onside kick, and you're not making it?
In that situation, just how the game was going, I think the great communication between myself and Coach Sirianni said, hey, let's take the safer route right here, just in case. You never know what's going to happen. And then after the timeout, we got our hands team out there, and they kicked it, and it was a touchback. So we'd rather be on the safer side, you know, protecting a 2-score game against, you know, an NFC rival right there. You want to win at any cost. So right there, I thought it was we took the right, safe route right there. But the communication was great between myself and Coach Sirianni. So I would, give me that situation again, I would probably do the same thing.
Communication with you and Nick at the end of the game when it's 3rd and short. Are you preparing to send the punt unit on if need be, or was it your understanding that you guys are going to go for it?
I'm preparing for everything. I'm preparing to send the punt team, preparing to keep them off the field. But once again, the communication from Coach Sirianni and myself was outstanding. And you know, it's one of those things where you feel really confident going into 3rd and shorts, 4th downs that you know, all right, he's going to tell me this. Get our guys ready for any possible situation.
Mike, looking ahead to Monday, considering how long Jalen Reagor's here and how long you guys worked together, how do you view that? Like, is it a disadvantage that he knows so much that what you guys ran here? Is it an advantage that you guys worked together so long? How do you view prepping for him on Monday?
Viewing the prep against Jalen, I'm not just prepping for Jalen, I'm prepping for the Minnesota Vikings. You know, I respect Jalen, everything he did for my time here. I mean, me and him had a really good relationship, so I only wish him the best in Minnesota, but I do got to get these guys ready to play against a very good special teams unit. Matt Daniels has got those guys rolling right there. They got some players, the Chris Boyds of the world, you know, the Dyes of the world. We got to be ready for everything, including Jalen. I mean, he is still a very dangerous returner. You can't bat an eye at a guy that's had a punt return for a touchdown, and you got a kick returner from Iowa State that had 2 as a rookie. You got to be ready for everything. So, you know, wish everything the best for Jalen, for himself and his family and everything, but we got to get ready for a game come Monday night.
So I don't know if you saw the Vikings-Seahawks game last night, but at the end, it looked like one of the teams played for a 64-yard field goal. What's the edge of Jake's range that you would feel comfortable doing that, where you say, okay, once we're at this point, you know, we're in his range and you can play that way?
Dude, I wish I had a definite answer for you, but there's so many variables that go into a wind. What side are we going? Where are we kicking towards? I mean, I guess you guys have seen it when it was rookie year. I mean, he hit that, 61-yarder here in the link. I mean, everything changes. So that, again, goes back to the communication, how he's feeling in pregame. What's the wind doing? You know, the wind could change. The wind could be a 180 right there. So all the communication, you know, communication's a big thing in terms of that for us special teams and the head man right there. Like, hey, this is his range. This is the line. We feel comfortable, you know, whether it's end of half, game winner. So there's a lot that goes into it. And, you know, once again, it just goes back down to the communication from myself to Tyler Brown to Jake to the head man in terms of those situations.
2 more, please. How did you feel about your kick return game? You guys got a couple of opportunities. Why did you default to Quez in the end, and how do you guys think you performed in that aspect?
Yeah, you know, obviously we want to get more yards than we got in terms of kick return in the kick return game. I thought they handled the situation at the end very well when we did have hands and they popped it up to Quez. He did the right thing. He got as much yards as he possibly could, then not to get tackled, not to get touched in that situation. But we like to get a little bit more downhill with it. And, you know, talking with Quez and everything, we want to be as greedy as possible. We're trying to get as many yards as possible. We still want to strive and be way better at that. So that's one thing that we got to get better at. But I thought the front line, you know, Detroit is a very good special teams unit, and they're very good in the kickoff coverage for a reason. But I thought, you know, kudos to our practice squad to get our guys ready for all the twist game. And we were on our blocks. We just want to get a little bit more movement to give our returners, you know, more open lanes instead of having color in the running lane right there where they have to abort. But we still want to get some more movement and get some better yards in our kick return game.